So hello everyone and welcome to lesson and week 31 of A Course in Miracles. I am very excited about this week, y'all. I'm excited every week, let's just be honest, but every lesson is near and dear to my heart, and this one definitely is. This particular lesson is going to hold very true and personal to me. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. So lesson 31 of A Course in Miracles. The title of lesson 31 is I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. What a powerful statement. What a powerful statement. I'm not a victim of the world I see. So in this lesson, Jesus advises us to apply this lesson to both our inner world, right? Our inner thoughts and our outer world, the world that we see. Because our inner world is the cause of our outer world. This lesson gives us permission to break free from victim identity. It invites us to make a new choice about ourselves, a new way to perceive the events and challenges of our lives. Today's lesson enables us to step into our power. It reminds us that we chose the circumstances of our lives before we were born even. And it enables us to be inspired by the knowledge that if we chose these particular challenges, then we have already developed a blueprint to overcome them, to learn from them, and to transmute them into wisdom, strength, and compassion. So today's Course in Miracles lesson, that we are not the victims of the world we see, reminds us of our divinity, our freedom, our power. This truth is an extension of last week's session when we talked about how our thoughts, right, creates our health, or it creates our illness, how that we're that powerful. So it's an extension of last week when we talked about that. We are not the victims of the world we see. We are the victors. So in fact, today's lesson, lesson 31, is transformative and impactful enough for us to camp out on this one lesson. And that's what I'm gonna do today. We're gonna delve into the truth that in fact, we are not victims of the world we see. So this reminds me, when I read this lesson, it reminded me of my own journey into enlightenment, because there was a time when things were so dark for me that I felt exactly like a victim. For many years, I had been embroiled in a custody battle with my ex-husband, and this custody battle cost me tens of thousands of dollars with no end in sight, no light at the end of the tunnel. And every day looked like the day before. The financial struggles, the isolation, having to engage with attorneys and judges who really didn't care about me or my children. I felt like I was a prisoner of life, that I was locked into this experience that caused me incredible suffering, and I didn't know how to escape. So soon my desire for life just began to wane. I was not enjoying myself anymore. Every morning I woke up with this sense of dread, until eventually I just wanted to die. I wanted to die. I wanted to go to sleep and never wake up. And that desire to die started with a thought. And that thought returned to me over and over and over again. And my desire to die was really birthed from a desire to live. Anyone who fantasizes about dying is really seeking a release from suffering. We all just would like the suffering to end. So as this thought of suicide and death started to build momentum, I began to imagine how I would do it. Remember that thoughts are the first level of creation available to us. And now I had gotten comfortable enough with the idea of suicide to formulate a plan. I had planned my potential suicide to the point where I identified how I would do it, the time I would do it, and even like the music I would have playing in the background, because I'm a little bit dramatic, but it was like this sense of, okay, this is how I'll do it. It really began to build momentum. So as my suffering and my preoccupation with death continued, I began to look up near-death experiences online, on YouTube. For some reason, that was the only thing that interested me at that time. I would view videos of people who died and went to hell. I would view videos of people who died and went to heaven. I saw an accounting of a very religious man who died and went to heaven. He described streets of gold and vibrant colors. Then there was another man who died and went to hell. He described being like in a dark cave. And I just remember him saying he was holding on to a cliff at the end on the cave. He didn't want to fall to the bottom. And when this man was revived back to life, he said that he had been unfaithful to his girlfriend. And I remember being confused, like that someone would go to hell just for like infidelity. Like that was confusing to me. It just didn't seem like that the crime deserved the punishment of hell. But later on, I realized that we all send ourselves to an after-death experience according to our own belief system. And this man, at his time of death, I think it was a car accident, he felt guilty in his heart for being unfaithful. And so when he died, he sent himself to a hell. But even if we send ourselves to a place called hell, we are there only for a little while. There is always a spirit guide available to lead us to the light when we're finally done punishing ourselves. Or sometimes it just takes like a simple thought, like, I'm tired of this place. I'm tired of being here. And that thought is enough to show us a spark of light that was always there to lead us home. See, it is never God that judges us. It is us who judges ourselves. And so Jesus gives us a glimpse of this reality in A Course in Miracles on page 199. Okay, so 199, paragraph 5. I'm going to read it. It's powerful, y'all. It says, God hides nothing from his son and his daughter, even though his son would hide himself. Yet the Son of God cannot hide his glory, for God wills him to be glorious and gave him the light that shines in him. You will never lose your way, for God leads you. When you wander, you but undertake a journey that is not real. The dark companions, the dark way, are all illusions. Turn toward the light, for the little spark in you is part of a light so great that it can sweep you out of all darkness forever. For your Father is your creator, and you are like him. So I love this because Jesus talks about that spark of light that is always there. So I'm going to continue. So there were other near-death experience videos where people described interacting with Source, with God. These were my favorite. Many of the people were moved to tears when they expressed this incredible, overpowering energy of love that they had never experienced before. Jesus talks about how we just cannot understand how much God loves us because we have never experienced a love like God's in this world. There is no parallel to it. I'm going to go back to A Course in Miracles. On page 281, paragraph 8, sentences 4 through 7, y'all. It says, you cannot understand. I love this. I love Jesus. You cannot understand how much your Father loves you, for there is no parallel in your experience of the world to you. For there's no parallel for you to compare it to, and nothing you have ever felt apart from him resembles it ever so faintly. He's there. He's saying there is nothing we've ever felt here that even resembles the love of God. He says, you cannot even give a blessing in perfect gentleness. Would you know of one who gives forever and who knows of nothing except giving? So Jesus is saying there is no parallel in this realm for the love of God. And so when these people die and they meet Source, it's like, it's overwhelming to them. They just go to tears. He says, who do you know? Jesus says, who do you know that gives forever? Which one of us give forever, or that knows nothing except giving? We don't know anybody like that. Not even our parents, who love us dearly, loves us absolutely unconditionally, even if they try, right? So when people met Source upon their death, this beautiful, non-judgmental energy made them forget that they had ever suffered in life before. Most, if not all, those who have experienced a near-death experience have completely released all fear of death. There is no fear of death anymore. They understand that there is a source of love, y'all, that is available to them all the time, that there is absolutely nothing to fear. And in fact, most people did not want to return to their bodies when given a choice after interacting with God. Most people remember thinking how ugly the body is compared to their beauty of their essence and their light. You know, many times they're looking down at the body like, oh, I don't want to go back. I want to be here. I want to be with you. I don't want to do this. And so many times God would have to remind them of a loved one that they would leave behind if they did not return. And this would get the person to agree to come back. But it was always their choice. So there are many, 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 many books on this subject, y'all. More information than I can ever relay in this platform. There are books from Dolores Cannon that thoroughly relays the life after life realms. I believe Justice has read some of those. And then there's a book from Dr. Michael Newton, which I love. His stuff is so good, y'all. This one is called Journey of Souls. And so these books are fascinating and entertaining. They are so entertaining. You would not be bored reading about who we are. We are so layered. We are so layered. We are dynamic beings of light, birthed from source. So I encourage everyone to look up near-death experiences at your leisure and listen to these wonderful accounts of people interacting with this magnificent, benevolent energy of sheer love. It will astound you. So I'm gonna read just a little bit from Journey of Souls, Michael Newton. The first paragraph, this is one of the, so he put folks into hypnosis. So it starts out with his client saying, "Oh my God, I'm not really dead, am I? I mean, my body is dead. I can see it below me, but I'm floating. I can look down and see my body lying flat in the hospital bed. Everyone around me thinks I'm dead, but I'm not. I want to shout, hey, I'm not really dead. This is so incredible. The nurses are pulling a sheet over my head. People I know are crying. I'm supposed to be dead, but I'm still alive. It's strange because my body is absolutely dead. While I'm moving around it from above, I'm alive." So that's juicy, y'all. That's juicy. That's juicy. This book, I love this book. Yeah, I can't even hide my joy, for real. I love life after life kind of books. I really do. So that's just like the first excerpt. And of course, there is many, many more. So y'all will love it. It will give y'all life, I'm telling you. So, okay, so let's continue. So I continued to search more and more near-death experience videos. I looked at hundreds of these, y'all, because again, I wanted to die. So this is the only thing that just kind of did something for me. So I searched and I searched every day. I didn't know why I was so drawn to them. I didn't know what I was looking for until finally one day I found a video of a woman who had committed suicide. I think she had taken a lot of like sleeping pills, but she committed suicide. They had to pump her stomach and she was revived. And she very matter-of-factly asserted that we all reincarnate over and over again. And we reincarnate with what she called our soul family. And that we all play different roles in each incarnation. Like this lifetime, I could be the mother and somebody else could be the daughter. In another lifetime, I could be the daughter and that same person can be the mother. We could be sisters, we could be brothers. We change roles every incarnation. And once I heard this, it felt like I had been wandering in the desert, like dehydrated. And I had finally found some water. I just remember, I would still remember how I felt when I saw that video. I remember having a visceral reaction to that video. I felt the truth of it in my soul. It just did something to me. And I knew that I had finally found what I was looking for. I found the truth of who we are. After that, I began to consume as much information as I could get. This is why I reference so many books in these sessions, because I read many, many books after I woke up. In 2012, they saved my life. So that's why, I reference so many books. Why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about suicide? Why are we talking about near-death experiences? We're talking about this because many of us have wanted to die at some point in our lives. This is a part of our experience here on this physical plane. And well, this channel, this platform is about truth. We are not here to look pretty. That's not why we're here. We're not here to show a moment in time, a snapshot of a good moment, in order for us to give everyone the impression that we never have struggle, like people often see on social media. We are not preoccupied with form, right? We're not preoccupied with the body on this platform. We know that we cannot reach people if we are not willing to delve into the depth and the breadth of all our experiences here, the highs and the lows, the inspirations and the doubts, the light and the dark. We have known the heaviness of depression and suffering. We have longed for the path to true happiness. We have all experienced a dark night of the soul. And I would like to share with you that your suffering is exactly what is bringing you to the path of Christ consciousness. You are right on the precipice of stepping into your power. You are gaining the wisdom, the compassion, and the love that is going to make you a blessing to everyone who crosses your path. Among the many books that I read, when I found this magnificent truth that we are divine beings of light, that we are so much more than the bodies we carry, I found two books titled Your Soul's Plan, Your Soul's Plan, and Your Soul's Gift. They are written by a man by the name of Robert Schwartz. And ever since I read them in 2012, I've been praying that he writes another book. That's how good they are. Robert was actually recently invited as a guest speaker on Tina Spalding's platform, but it's actually the lesson today that made me really think about these books. These books he wrote really opened my eyes to the fact that none of us are victims. It says the healing power of the life you planned before you were born. The life you planned before you were born. Like, we have to digest that. So in the book, he highlights people who lives with incredible life challenges. He interviews them, and then he will bring in incredibly gifted mediums and channels who actually had the ability to go into a deep meditation and observe the pre-birth planning conversations that these souls had with their guides and teachers before they were born. Can y'all believe that? Like, I mean, they were actually able to memorialize the conversations that we have had before we were born and listen in on the decision-making process that these people made while choosing their challenges. So the interviewees he selected had challenges ranging anywhere from parenting handicapped children to drug addiction and alcoholism, to living with HIV, to miscarriages, to poverty, and the list goes on and on and on. And I specifically remember being impacted by one of the stories of a young African-American lady. Her name was Penelope. She was born completely deaf, and it didn't make sense because neither one of her parents were deaf. So it was just odd, right? And she had also suffered many nightmares when she was a little girl. So when the mediums went in to her pre-birth planning that Penelope had with her spirit guides, it was discovered that in her most recent past lifetime, the one before this one, she, her mother, and her mother's boyfriend lived together in an apartment, and her mother's boyfriend was verbally and physically abusive to her mother. The medium was able to see that one day Penelope and her neighbor, it was like she saw like a still shot of Penelope and her neighbor standing outside in front of their apartment, and they were like hugging, paralyzed with fear as they heard her mother and the boyfriend arguing. The boyfriend began chasing her mother, who ran into a bedroom and locked the door. Then the boyfriend got a gun and he ended up shooting her mother twice. While her neighbor went to call the police, the boyfriend ended up shooting himself. He went to the bathroom and kind of sat, and the medium gave all this detail, which was incredible. Kind of sat and leaned next to the tub and shot himself in the head. Penelope heard every one of the gunshots. And the medium also shared that Penelope suffered from severe depression for the rest of her life, that lifetime. And she actually ended up killing herself because she was lonely without her mom and just could not get the sound of those gunshots out of her head. It's like they haunted her. Well, when viewing the pre-birth planning, Penelope told her guides, I don't ever want to hear that sound again. And that is what influenced her decision to spend her current lifetime deaf. She wanted to be able to experience life without the threat of those sounds. And this lifetime would be a lifetime of healing for her. And she was able to spend this lifetime on her own terms. And so that's why it's always important for us, and I've talked about this before, that when we see people who maybe have special needs or are blind or, have a certain experience, that there is always a soul level reason. We have no idea. We don't even know why we have decided to do what we've decided to do. So we have no idea why that soul wanted to have that experience. But that's why I always say it's disrespectful to the soul to have pity on another. See them as the powerful being that they are, having the experience that they are choosing to have. When we make assumptions and have pity on people, we are in error when we do this. So there's always a soul level reason why that soul wanted to have that particular experience. And there are as many reasons, y'all, as there are people. There are as many reasons as there are people. We are dynamic, courageous, and incredibly layered individuations of God. That is what we are. We are the most courageous parts of God. Okay, so I'm almost done. So, of course, your girl had to contact one of those mediums that was highlighted in the book. I mean, I had to know why I had such a difficult time with my ex. I was convinced, y'all, that I was like, I must have kidnapped him and killed him in a past lifetime. Like I must have tortured him. I really wondered that, because he was my life challenge, and I suffered tremendously from his anger, his bitterness, his financial abuse, his obsession with fighting in the courts, and just with fighting me on every level, from a small decision to a large decision. So in 2013, I contacted one of the mediums. One of the mediums highlighted, her name is Stacy Wells. She was not cheap. She was not cheap, but she was worth every penny, because this was about my survival at this point. So, I, I had to know. So I wanted to know what kind of pre-birth planning my crazy self then came up with. What reasoning I would have to want to go through something so dark that I actually contemplated suicide. Like right now, I look back on it and it's much lighter because I understand everything. But back then, the isolation with my family being in another state and fighting this person who was never satisfied with the endless litigation, to have to deal with someone who made you the reason for all his unhappiness, it was a heavy burden indeed. So what did I learn, y'all? This is juicy. What did I learn? So I learned that I had in fact agreed to do this dance with my ex. She told me that he had come into this lifetime already with resentment and bitterness from a previous lifetime that had nothing to do with me. In that lifetime, we were actually colleagues, and both of us were in the industry of healing. And I think we were in Germany, but he was not from Germany, and his coworkers ridiculed him. They did not respect his work. And he was very, very angry and bitter. And I was a support for him. Even though we were co-workers, I just kind of had a lot of compassion for what he was dealing with. And he asked me in this lifetime to help him and be there for him. And Stacy told me that I agreed to be with him, but I told him yes, but only for a little while. And I asked him in exchange, he was to give me my 3 beautiful children. And she told me that the troubles he caused me would push me into my purpose. And I knew that as a soul, that this was a part of my process, and of my purpose, which is, of course, in the arena of healing. And that he actually sacrificed his lifetime to be that energy, to hold that low vibration in order to force me to remember who I was. So, upon hearing all this, like it changed my whole perception of life. So instead of feeling like a victim, I then recognized myself as the orchestrator of my life. I told him, you play this role, I'm gonna play this role, the children will learn this and play this role. We had planned for a play. And when we were born, we would play the roles that we agreed to play. And I understood that there was purpose over my life, that my struggles were tied to me being a blessing to myself and others. We have all heard of the saying, perception is reality. Well, this is true. My perception completely changed the way that I created. The dark days did not feel so bad. I still had dark days, but I understood the plan. If we feel as if we're victims, we will continue to have that experience of victimhood. Now, this doesn't mean that my ex stopped filing motions. No, he continued for years and years after that. But he no longer had any control over my emotions and my response to his continued litigation. Regardless of the content in my life, I began to experience and create life from a higher perspective, and therefore freed myself from the darkness that had bound me. So here we all are, y'all. I just want everyone to know that, first of all, if you're struggling with a challenge that seems to keep dogging you, it is very likely that you chose that challenge during your pre-birth planning to not only ascend, but to help others. I encourage you to get one of these books. Even if it's not a heavy challenge, these books are incredible. Robert Schwartz is an avid believer in going to the library and checking books out. So I'm gonna say that in honor of him. If you can go to the library and look them up. If you don't want to purchase them, but they will bless you tremendously, because they will allow you to understand how courageous we all are for being here. Actually, the original title of his books were called Courageous Souls. There's so much respect in heaven when souls meet other souls who have come to this realm. It's like, okay, you went to earth, okay, you serious, you're courageous, I respect you. This truly is one of the roughest realms to be in, and we all know that, right? So the challenge you have, you chose your challenge for a higher purpose, which means you're strong enough to overcome and transmute it. And secondly, I want you to know that you are not being punished by God, that you are unconditionally loved, and that your struggles are tied to your purpose. If anyone who is listening to this video is seriously considering suicide, please message me and let's go higher. You're listening to this video for a reason. Let's go higher. You may feel small, but there is absolutely nothing small about you. So I love you all. And that's the session for today. Does anybody have, I actually have a great meditation that we've done before that I think is very appropriate to tonight's lesson. But I'll give anybody an opportunity to share if you want to. If not, we can go into the meditation. Brittany said, wow. Okay. Margaret, you unmuted yourself. You got something?
No one is sharing. My sharing is, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of explaining that, of bringing your personal life onto this platform. I love that. I think it's necessary because our experience is what people will respond to.
Yes.
You know, people they don't know you, but the experience is what they connect to. So I think you did a beautiful, wonderful job. I thought about committing suicide in my teens.
Wow.
I'm from Trinidad.
Those are the times.
And yeah, it was a confusing time for me. I didn't know who I was. I was so lost. There was something missing. I knew there was something missing in my life and I didn't know what it was. You know, I wanted to be a nun. I wanted to be a nun because I've always wanted to be in service. So I wanted to go into nunnery, but and my life was, I was like, okay, you know, this, and I think I was feeling people's emotion. I didn't know what it was. There was so much things that I just didn't know. You understand? And basically, so we all go through stages of, once you start questioning, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? My life, I'm not happy in my home, my marriage, or I'm not happy in my job. This is happening and that is happening. But what I realize is everything is vibration, even our emotions is vibration. And maybe if we change that emotion, if I get up and I'm saying from my bed and I say, I'm angry, instead of getting up and saying I'm angry, can I change that emotion to, I'm not angry, I'm happy. If I get up and say I'm depressed, I'm not depressed, I'm uplifted. Can we change the conversation we have in our head? If everything is in emotions, can we change the vibration? So I think it's necessary for young people, for all of us, to make that connections with our emotion. Can we just say, okay, this is something that everything is a vibration, it means nothing. Mm-hmm. It will be difficult, you know, but let's change the story in our head. Let's change that story, that wheel that is spinning and telling us this and telling us that. Let's change it. No, I'm not angry. I'm just chilling. I'm not feeling this dark, gloomy mood. No, it's beautiful outside. It's sunny. I'm going to decide and walk in the park. And Father said, He is life. God is life. Mm. And life is all around you. God is everywhere. Life is everywhere. So when you're walking, even the sidewalk you're walking on, the trees, the breeze, the sun, the leaves, the flowers. When I'm traveling in a car, I have this habit, I look out the window and I said, I thank Mother Earth, and I said, thank you. Because even in the bushes, there are flowers. I said, you love us so much that I can find beauty at the side of the road with all the garbage. There's a beautiful flower. Look at that. I thank you, Mother. Thank you. I'm taking a walk in the park and there are the little leaves. Yes, we might sniff because of the allergies, but look at the beauty around you and make a connection. Make a connection. You know, so I mean, that's all I want to say. It's change that story in your head. You get up depressed, change it. Change it. Put on the song came to me by it's Pharrell, because I'm happy. Right. That's the song that came to me. You understand? Put on music. Do something to get out of that mood. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta. That was beautiful, Loretta.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
That's right. That was beautiful. Thank you. I thank you for sharing that, because when you said you were a teenager and you had struggled with that is when we are most vulnerable.
Yes.
So glad you said that, because I feel like people are going to hear that who are in that space. Yes, that is when it hits us. And I actually am going to do a lesson on, we have a choice. I love that you say if you wake up angry, you can change that net, because it all starts with the thought. You can change that narrative in your mind and say, no, I'm not angry. Let me find something to be grateful for. You know, I'm alive. You know, I have my health. I have a bed to wake up in. You know, we can always, we are the drivers of our boat. and we determine where that path goes. I love that. I
I
love.
always remember I heard this quote, what you have, someone is praying for. If you
Mm,
think you have nothing, that nothing that you have, someone is praying for what you have.
mm,
You have a house, some people don't have a house. You have clothes, some people don't have clothes. You have food and running water, indoor toilet, bathroom. People praying for those things. So what you have, there's somebody out there praying for it. So be grateful, be thankful. You know, look at what you have. Look at what you have.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm sorry, this is a side note. I love that you wanted to be a nun because I just felt
Oh,
like that devotion to God was always in you. That service
yeah,
to God was
yeah,
always in you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, we could go all night. But
Yeah.
Ebony said, okay, now, thank you. Brittany
Oh,
said, wow. So look, okay, I'm gonna go into the meditation because I don't want to hold y'all past 7:30. Um, I want to go into a meditation real quick. So everyone close your eyes and just have just a cleansing exhale, just releasing all of the energies that we have accumulated for the day, and just, sit comfortably in a sitting position if you can, and breathe in through the nose and exhale through your mouth, releasing all that does not serve you. So as we inhale again through the nose, breathing in love and light, and then exhale, releasing all of the stressors and the pressures and the low vibrations, exhaling them out of your body. And for the third time, we're going to inhale through the nose and then exhaling. And with the exhale, you are relaxing your shoulders. Now, I would like for everyone to breathe in a comfortable rhythm. And I want to take you back. I would like for you to go back in time, back through the years, as you envision yourself as a young adult. Go back in time, envisioning yourself as a young adult. And now go back and envision yourself as a teenager, going through those years that Margaret talked about when everything was so confusing. And now I would like for you to go further back as a cute toddler, walking around, learning life, observing everything. And now go back further as a baby. Imagine yourself as a baby, new to life, absorbing and observing everything. You can still see your spirit guides and the angels around you. And now I would like for you to go back even further, before you were born. I would like you to envision that you are a soul, a spark of light in heaven. and you are preparing for your lifetime here in this incarnation. There is much excitement. You are surrounded by all your spirit guides and your spiritual family. You're surrounded by those spirits who have known you many lifetimes. And they have been with you since you were in the womb in this lifetime. Always close to you. Always offering your quiet guidance and wisdom. Now imagine your guides are around you, right? They're all surrounding you. You are finalizing all of the little plans and the details you all made in concert together. You're finalizing the choice of your parents you choose and how they would conceive you. You're finalizing the month and time and place you would be born. You're finalizing details of your name, the color of your skin, the timing of when you would meet your soulmates, all those last minute details. And now imagine the lessons you decided you wanted to work on in this incarnation. And though you know that you know everything, there are things that you want to experience. The things that you wanted to master. Now imagine the excitement of knowing that you are able to continue your healing abilities that you've developed in previous incarnations. Now that the energies have changed on planet Earth, that breakthroughs have been made, and the veil of darkness has been thinning. In previous incarnations, you are not able to fully integrate your soul into physical form. You were persecuted for being who you were. You were misunderstood. But now things are different, and you want to come in with the fullness of your power. You're excited and a little bit nervous because you know that there will be challenging times, but your heart holds a vision of all the many things you want to share with the world. You have a special light that the universe needs, and you know this, a light that is unique to you. And you have heard the call from Gaia. You've heard the call from Earth, that this would be a momentous time in history. This time right now, that this would be the lifetime when the new Earth is birthed, and you readily jumped at the opportunity to help spread the light of Christ consciousness. As you move closer to the threshold of being born, right before you took the plunge through your mother's birth canal into physical form, everyone, you're looking down at a beautiful rose you have in your hand. It is magnificent. It's gorgeous. This rose represents your light, your talents, your mission, your love. And as you hold this rose carefully in your hands, you take a deep breath, and you know that there may be times you may not feel like it, but you will never be alone. You know that. You will never be alone. That you are deeply and unconditionally loved. You are loved by your guides. You are loved by your angels. and you are loved by your God. Take a deep breath in. And as you open your eyes, recognize your courage. Recognize your beauty. Recognize the unique ray of light that you carry from your source. Make a decision to never speak of yourself in a harsh way, to love yourself unconditionally, and be patient with yourself as you have made a plunge into the realm of the unknown. And when we are in the realm of the unknown, it requires nothing but absolute courage. And we are all courageous, all of us. All of us are courageous for being here. So that is the meditation. I hope everyone enjoyed. And I love you.